Ladies and gentlemen of the Executive Board, before we convene this meeting, I wish to share with you some interesting news. As you all know, when Thomas Edison started his little warehouse operation in Jersey over a century ago, he received financial backing from an anonymous donor,
who in no way, shape, or form was William Tweed.
who in return was promised 5% of all proceeds from any inventions. To keep this promise, when General Electric began selling stock in 1896, 5% was kept in a reserve as the Founders' 5.
I'm sure this is all a very nice history lesson, but get to the point. I'm flying to Italy in a few hours.
Well, amidst the usual trickle of emails from people who know the story and claim to be the heir apparent, we received one today that was troubling.
Troubling how?
A scan of the document was attached. Ladies and gentlemen, it looks like the 28% of GE common stock we refer to as the Founders' 5 may finally have an owner.
Based on what Smitty scrawled, we know they've had the Fool in there for at least 12 hours.
And with them keeping the Fool from contacting anyone, there's no way for any Hobo representative to negotiate an end to the war.
Meaning, this war is completely in the hands of the pirates.
Why couldn't the Fool declare an end to the hostilities to us through Smitty?
As long as the pirates have our king captive, they know we're in disarray. Even if the Fool were to end the war, that wouldn't stop the pirates from fighting.
When you're negotiating with pirates, you need to operate from the position of strength.
If we want them to agree to any cessation of hostility, our first step must be rescuing the Fool.
We have to assume they know the Queen is in New York. Can we use that to our advantage?
Well, we could offer up a trade agreement.
Absolutely not.
Hey, thought this was my turf.
With all due apologies, Your Majesty, the idea doesn't even merit consideration. What do we have to gain for exchanging the sane half of our monarchy for the less stable side?
He's got a point.
I appreciate your concern, Roughshod, but the Queen can't end the war. And I'm not going to get rid of my best bargaining chip until I've heard all the options, though.
Pull a funny Francine. Years ago, there was an old timer around these parts, named Frankie Bullets. Now, due to poor diet and certain personal hygiene choices he'd made, he had a hard time getting the marks to give him food and shelter. Instead of dealing with these issues, he chose to slap on a dress and beg for mercy on a poor homeless lass.
How many pirates know you by sight, Your Highness?
Including all the ones I've met in my travels. Oh, I'd say none.
And all we need is a fresh-faced lass and a pretty dress.
Damn it! That's me, isn't it?
How about tanks?
It's difficult to sell to private citizens.
Guns?
Not a problem.
Jet planes?
Military or personal?
Military?
No.
Any of your prosthetic limbs being available?
GE Healthcare has many advanced models. Some being tested currently aren't out on the market yet, but naturally you'd have access.
How might we be getting some more goons from your crew?
If you mean hiring bodyguards for protective purposes only, of course. We could hire a security detail for you and your associates.
Might they be having guns?
Yes, for protective purposes only.
Aye, of course.
Might the goons be having tanks?
No.
How does I go about withdrawing me funds?
The details of it are inconsequential. You essentially have more money than you can imagine.
He wants me a real looking leg.
You can have it. Hell, you can have anything you want.
Sure.
Within reason. As your corporate liaison, I'll handle the details. Just bring your request to me, and I'll see that those the company is legally able to honor are carried out.
will be needing one or two things before the morning sun.
Smitty!
Begging our pardon, Morning, but her husband not be available right now. How can we be of service?
We're just here to bargain, Betsy. We don't want any trouble.
Ye always be saying you don't want trouble, especially when you be making it for somebody else. And who be this?
This is our queen. Two Fists Mary.
Well, I'm sure your precious queen be missing her king. So we'll be sending him right out then.
Something bullshit's about to happen.
No shit, Your Highness. Now shut your mouth and look pretty.
Language Morning, Jesus.
I knew ye'd come for me. Full on! For 4 years I be knowing who I be. Pirate King Chansey! A self-made son of a bitch who be going where the seas be blowing him. But then, last summer, I be hearing a new whisper in the wind and I be following it inland. Straight into the heart of the enemy. A giant gathering of hobos as far as me eye could see. I be thinking, this be the place to be making a legend of myself. One grand last stand that me children would sing over pints for generations.
Morning, what the hell is going on?
Exposition.
But then, the whispers grew louder and louder, and before I knew it, I be standing in front of me enemy as its king. Long live the fool, our king, they cried. And I wept, for I knew I could not be both what I was and what I be. But it warn't in me nature to be anything less than what I could be. So I decided to let the voices in me head settle it for me. Who amongst ye would kill this man? Kill the Hobo King and take the pirate's crown for yourself in one fell swoop? Who amongst ye would save this man? Save the life of your liege and win the eternal gratitude of your enemy's king, all in the same breath. Draw!